What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Friday the 13th. All right, here we go. Gonna have a little spooky on this February 13th as we have been going through the entire off-season planning that we've been really setting up, and I think we've knocked it down pretty nicely over the last 3 days with our three-person shows. Now back to a two-headed monster here on Friday the 13th. We'll talk about nepotism and off-season fears. I think this is, look, we did a lot of really positive things the last 3 days of how they're going to improve draft picks, free agencies, cuts, redoing the salary cap, all these things. So are you lighting yourself on fire today? Because I just
First of all, thank you, Esco. We appreciate the compliment. Bustin' Diamond says, Easton, aren't you lighting yourself on fire today? That was not ever supposed to see the light of day. That was in a DM for a reason, and then Zach Lyons decided to just throw it out there to the world. You'll have to stick around. At some point in the next hour, there's a chance. I did say that I would, so who knows? Who knows what I was talking about either? The world will never know that.
Steven says, Easton is dressed in Titans colors and Austin isn't. I usually kind of follow a color scheme for the show because I think it works better because it's usually like in different shades of blues and grays and white. But I'm wearing red today because it's Friday the 13th and there will be blood because Easton's going to be lit on fire.
That's right. How many, this is a conversation that I had in that group chat yesterday after I said that I would light myself on fire. How many minutes do you think Zach Lyons would dedicate of his radio show to me having lit myself on fire this morning? I'm going to say like 45 seconds and then I think he'd move on. How much?
It depends on what you light on fire. Like, are you going to burn yourself with a candle?
Like my whole body is on fire and then I die.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure.
I think he'd breeze right past it.
I mean, it's also anyway. We got stuff to do.
I think we just played the video.
Easton, right before we went live, we were like, it would be okay if today's show was shorter, and then we both listed things that we have to do today, and then now we're here talking about like wasting time on lighting yourself on fire. So let's get back to it, and so we can have.
You're so uninterested. You think it'd be a waste of time for me to light myself?
I do think it would be a waste of time for you to light yourself on fire.
Well, now I'm gonna do it.
All right, so great. Never mind. No liability on this. That's his choice. If he wants to do that, then
I'm going to wait for you to say the thing I disagree with most and then protest by lighting myself on fire.
So we'll talk about nepotism because the Titan coaching staff has 2 family hires that were announced yesterday officially. And then we'll talk about Austin. I've read my name in a comment. We'll talk about off-season fears because it's Friday the 13th. And then we'll end on a positive note with good news. So if you have good news, it's also Valentine's Day weekend. So I hope you've all not screwed that up already. So make sure that you get your off-season fears thoughts together because it will be better if you think about it a little bit longer. But Easton, tell the people what they got to do here first.
They need to like the show this morning. Jump in the comments after you've liked the show on Facebook or on YouTube. Very simple instructions, very free instructions. Hit that button and then join us for this morning's conversation on all of our Friday the 13th topics. Going to be a good one. Austin, let's get it started.
Let's do it officially. Welcome to A to Z Sports here live on a Friday the 13th. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, our Titans reporter for A2ZSports.com. We're Nashville's on-demand sports network going live weekday mornings at 8:10 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. That's at A to Z Sports. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. And follow us on Google right there. Google preference source link in the chat for you to hit that follow. So when you're Googling Titans free agency, Titans mock draft, Titans cuts, Titans salary cap, you see Easton in our content show up first because you followed A to Z Sports. I do have to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, boneandjointtn.org. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs, local and online at bartondrury.com. And Window Nation, take advantage of February's buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free. And also an extra 10% off the top sprinkled on there for Valentine's Day, all February long. So we went through a long 3 days of 3-person shows where our show time length averaged close to 90 minutes. Yesterday, we did the entire mock off-season show. I thought it was a great exercise, a fun exercise overall. So if you missed that, I would definitely go check it out. Easton, did you have any regrets in that offseason mock show after the fact throughout the day of like, ooh, I wish we would have done this a little bit different or that a little bit different? Anything that you thought of?
Yeah, it is an interesting exercise because it's just so different from when I sit down to write an article or something where I get to like really plan it out, map it out, consider my actions. When you do it in real time, you're zoomed all the way in and you're flying by the seat of your pants. And so when I kind of looked up at the whole thing at the end, the one thing that I don't know if I regret it because it reflects how I feel, but if we're going for accuracy, like predictiveness, I think our free agency haul was a little bit light. But honestly, I think what we put together, which was a relatively unsexy free agency haul, we spent a lot of money. We just didn't go get any massive names. We didn't sign anybody to a contract worth more than 15 million AAV, I don't think.
Right.
Do I think that's super likely? No. I'd bet they sign at least one player to a contract between 15 and $25 million AAV. Because again, they have so much money to spend. And also, worth noting, they have more money to spend than we spent yesterday because of the whole salary cap thing, and they'll prorate contracts.
Yeah, the ability to use the signing bonus and a low base salary in year one to make a big, what would be a normal big cap hit, like nothing.
Right. And so that part maybe not 100% accurate, but I do think the heart of what we put together is more likely than any of the, and I'm not calling anybody out here genuinely, but like if you see any mock off seasons where it's like they sign Romeo Doubs and Wan'Dale Robinson and the top tight end and the top running back and the top right guard, like the way that you could do this mock off season, because they do have that kind of money, I think that is way more unlikely given two reasons. One, what we know about Mike Borgonzi and his desire to supplement through free agency instead of building through free agency. But also number two, and I hate to be a dampener on our Friday mood this morning, let's not forget who this team is, right? Like you're paying the suck tax. You did last year, you did the year before. We should be used to this by now. But in case you've forgotten, even though you put together a fun coaching staff and Cam Ward as a draw, and like it's not like everything about this place stinks by any means. To get the top free agents, you're going to have to pay more than better teams because coming to Tennessee lately has been a recipe for sadness. Mm-hmm. And so there are going to be some players that just don't want to come here. That's how it goes.
Right. And you would think maybe some of this coaching staff is a bigger draw to some of those names because you've got Robert Saleh, who's got a very good relationship with his players wherever he's been with the Jets and with the Niners, and on both sides of the football too. It's not just him being the Niners DC last year. Was talking about all the upcoming veteran free agent Niners defenders. I think it helps with the offensive players. George Kittle has talked about a lot how great of a relationship he's got with Robert Saleh, and George Kittle going through an Achilles rehab right now, so not exactly an option here. But I do think Brian Dable, you've got Gus Bradley, so there's a lot of different connections. And so here is just we jump right into it. The coaching staff officially made official yesterday, and so the top four horsemen, the top three Balds and John Fossil, the Balds and the Bones. How about that?
Oh, that's just so Austin Stanley of you.
That was right off the top of my head.
That is just
the Balds and the Bones
down the center cut of your alley right there.
But that's really good. You gotta admit, that's pretty good.
Yeah, somebody write that down. Write it down.
Yes. So there you have your top group of Titans coaching staff members. And then I want to say, I think this is the offensive slide. I did not label it.
It is.
Yeah, there we go. Got it right.
It's so in 140p. So you're welcome for that as well.
Thanks, Easton, for your phenomenal graphic.
Shout out Twitter for apparently just having low res. I just saved it.
If you can even read the names: Carmen Brasillo, the O-line coach; Trevor Browder, offensive assistant; Randy Jordan, running backs coach, retained. Cade Knox is the John Stryker of this staff. Greg Lewis at wide receivers. John Budnicki is a offensive assistant. Luke Stalker retained at tight ends. Shea Tierney, the quarterback coach, we knew that, and Isaac Williams, assistant O-line coach. So what stands out the most on that offensive coaching staff, which I feel like we knew more about this group than we did the next slide we'll get to.
Well, number one, unless I'm just forgetting something, Isaac Williams is the assistant O-line coach, is a new name, and he is an additional Bald, so another tally for the Balds. what else did we not know here? A handful of these. We knew Stalker and Jordan were being retained. We knew Cade Knox was going to be the in the booth big brain guy for Robert Saleh.
Harvard guy.
Oh yeah, Ivy League. Other than that, I mean, some of these names like Budnicki is not a guy that I think we knew about beforehand. Trevor Browder I'm not sure that's a guy we knew about beforehand, but the rest of this is relatively unsurprising.
Yeah, so the three that you just mentioned are all offensive assistants.
Mm-hmm.
Assistants to assistants, which I think is a theme. So now we get to the defensive and special team side of this. Still blurry. Ben Bloom retained but demoted, kinda, because
I'm just glad he's sticking around.
He is a fun person to watch coach.
I like Ben Bloom. I've enjoyed getting to know Ben Bloom for the past year. I think the guy is a good coach. I was actually talking yesterday before this came out with in a chat with Zach Lyons, and I was like, Ben Bloom, I think, is a better coach than people give him credit for, and I'm curious to see where he lands. And then boom, he's back here. Now, is it a demotion? Yes, technically, but
then you have the senior
happy to stick around.
Yeah, right. Ben Bloom was previously the outside linebackers coach the last couple of years, and now the senior defensive assistant Dave Borgonzi.
I actually don't know if it's a demotion. Sorry,
it's a demotion. It's a demotion. It's a demotion with grace.
Optically, yes. Do you think it's like a big pay cut? I don't know what a senior defensive assistant makes, so I don't know.
Probably less than an outside linebackers coach.
You think so?
Yes.
But he's senior.
Dave Borgonzi.
Anyways. The guy that is the linebacker coach.
Yes. Dalton Hilliard. Defensive back / nickels.
That's a new position. That's a note.
Marquand Manuel. Defensive back safeties. Tony Oden. What does that say?
Pass game coordinator and cornerbacks. So he stays the cornerbacks guy, but he's now pass game coordinator for the defense.
Another bald. And Manuel a bald. Ahmad Saleh, probably soon to be bald. We've seen his family.
He's close. He's got a real tight haircut.
White Cotton, we knew. Travis Smith is a retention. Raina Stewart, special team staff and chief of staff, Rob Dodona.
He might go by Bob. We'll have to check. But yeah, Rob Dodona. A couple of these names we're going to learn pronunciations on, so apologies if we're getting it wrong.
First off, we have to count the balds, not the soon-to-be balds, but the balds. So we have three currently right here, right? 3 here, and now we'll flip over to the offensive side. We got Bursillo, 3. I mean, Greg Lewis is a soon-to-be if he's here long enough.
True.
Rude, right?
Sorry, Greg.
And then we've got 3.
So 9.
So 9 balds.
We need someone to step up and become the 10th. We need double-digit balds.
Yeah.
I think if Ahmad Saleh wants to stick around and earn his keep as the Nepo guy, he needs to go ahead and take one for the team. He's already got a high and tight military haircut. Just go one step. Take that little guard off the razor, buddy, and go to town.
I mean, you could be the 10th, right?
That's right. And then I think we'll approve of you if you become the 10th.
So, Bork, don't worry. The Cowboys had excellent linebacker play last year, and we didn't watch Kenneth Murray put together some of the most atrocious tape last season.
Are we putting Kenneth Murray's play on Dave Borgonzi? Is that what
I don't know, but it is Nepo.
Anyone around here seen Kenneth Murray play football before?
Yeah, probably everybody watching the show right now because he spent one awkward, weird, not great year as a Titans inside linebacker. So we've got nepotism striking again, and it's on the defensive side of the football with Dave Borgonzi, brother of Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi, and Ahmad Saleh, not a buddy hire, but a cuz hire, the cousin of Robert Saleh, the head coach, who is coming from Wayne State.
Anyone know where Wayne State is?
Indiana.
I figured you might know, but actually, wait, no, I think Wayne State.
It'd be either Michigan or Indiana.
I think it's Michigan. Yeah. I believe it's
Michigan. The Salehs are from Michigan.
Yeah, I believe it's Michigan because I think I saw Mike Payton talking about it, and so I just kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Now, here's the thing. Now, Robert Saleh did mention to 3HL when he was hired that he has like 60 first cousins.
Right. So actually, he's showing restraint here. That he only went 1/60th of the potential Nepo hires he could have made.
Yeah,
That's a good
he
spin.
said something along the lines of, in their hometown in Michigan, there was a Saleh on that high school football team from like 1970 something up until he was the last one in like 98 or 99, something like that.
The Salehs have to run that town, right? Like, I don't know how big the town is they all live in, but whatever town it is, you could throw a dart at any home on the street and you're liable to run into a Saleh, it seems.
So we've got 2 Nepo hires.
Indeed.
And we have to get into this a little bit.
Who knew,
right?
by the way, that the Dave Borgonzi would be Chekhov's gun in this offseason? Are we familiar with Chekhov's gun?
Go ahead, just add it to your Occam's razor explanations.
It's a very simple,
and your scorpion thing.
This is not really that difficult. Chekhov's gun is a famous device in theater. It is a gun on the mantelpiece that is revealed as an item of interest in the first act, and because they reveal it in the first act, from a plot standpoint, you don't reveal something if it's not important in some way to the story, so it comes back around and plays a big role in the third act. My point is, Dave Borgonzi, we were talking about this guy for the first time over a month ago when they were interviewing Jason Garrett. Yeah. And we were all like, why? And then it's like, Dave Borgonzi, Cowboys linebacker coach. I think he was a defensive assistant at the time for Jason Garrett back in 2012 or whatever. He must have recommended. Well, now Dave Borgonzi's around. Who knew?
It's so all right because this was also just in the category folder of funny. Easton tweets this in the afternoon yesterday. Well, it feels like every new head coach besides Robert Saleh has made at least one staffing hire that I looked at and said, yeesh, Titans fans would have rioted.
At 2:10, that was true.
And then just a couple hours later, the GM's little brother is on the coaching staff. It is funny, right? Like that's.
It's not exactly what I was talking about, but yes, it is funny.
But still, you're like,
it's a little lower stakes.
And then, of course, like the Titans are going to tell you and other members of the beat.
Oh, you have no idea how fast I got that text.
I'm told.
I fired off that first tweet and then bang.
I'm told Mike Borgonzi removed himself from the hiring process of his brother.
The Titans organization was waiting to throw that little tidbit out.
I'm wearing the color, and in the famous words of Ron Burgundy, I don't believe you. I don't believe that. I
believe it.
Why was Dave? Okay, we're about to dive into this. My first question that's currently like chew on this, and then we'll get more. If Mike Borgonzi removed himself from the conversation in the process of hiring his little brother as the linebackers coach, then how did his little brother, Mike Borgonzi, even get into the room of consideration as a linebackers coach? So chew on that for a second, and we're going to continue to talk more about how we feel about not one, but 2 family hires on the coaching staff. The head coach's cousin is a defensive assistant, and the GM's little brother is the linebackers coach. Younger brother. Little brother is a little disrespectful. Younger brother is because they're both grown men. So come on. All right. Come on, me. That's me. All right. So we'll go through those things. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about Window Nation. WindowNation.com is where to go for a free estimate and a great deal going on this month of February. That's almost halfway over. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free. And because it's the month of love, sprinkle a little 10% extra off the top of that cost. You're going to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with your new windows for your home. How do I know? My family, my wife and I, we did this 3 months ago. We got our windows installed. We bought in September. Roy, who runs the Middle Tennessee area, came over to our house, did about an hour presentation, had a little science experiment feel to it. It was really cool, fascinating, but zero pressure. We had already decided we need new windows. We got to have new windows. This is a great opportunity to do that. And then Roy kind of knocked our socks off with how his relationship that he wanted to create with us, how comfortable he made us. There was no pressure, how he educated us on the process, because we all, my wife especially likes to understand the how behind things, because that's the brain that she has of learning and all that. And so Roy was great to help us out with that. And then Dan, the installation manager, and then the install team a month later, right before Thanksgiving. Everybody great to deal with Window Nation. So check them out, windownation.com, a free estimate, no pressure, and the deal, buy 4 windows, Get 4 windows for free and an extra 10% off. So many different ways to finance it. So don't worry about that. Our monthly payment that starts down the road is like no big deal. I've got like a handful of monthly payments every month that are bigger than my windows, which is kind of crazy. So check them out, windownation.com.
Folks, if you have not hit that like button, hit that like button. It's free. It's very helpful for us on Facebook or on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up and then jump into the comments. We're talking Nepo hires.
That's right. So my first question to you to kind of chew on is, if Mike Borgonzi removed himself from the process of the hiring of his younger brother, Dave Borgonzi, as a linebackers coach, then how does Dave Borgonzi get entered into the chat for the opportunity to be the Titans linebackers coach? Like, there has to be like, did Mike kind of, hey, you should put my brother on that list?
It's easy.
And then after that, he steps back. Like,
it's easy. Dave Borgonzi was just the best guy for the job.
According to whom? And
merit.
The list of who?
Just real life. He's just earned it. Listen, did he probably throw his name in the ring because he's his brother? Yeah, of course. Like, I don't think I'm not sure that qualifies as entering yourself in the conversation when it comes to deciding to hire him. I wasn't told that Mike Borgonzi had nothing to do with it. I was told Mike Borgonzi was not a part of the decision to hire him, which means he could have been a part of the decision to interview him. Apparently, he was one of 8 candidates for linebackers coach, which is
where did that come from?
I think Kaharski tweeted that out.
Okay,
which is interesting to me. Like, I guess I just never assumed with these coaching staff build-outs that the candidates for each position are that. Because I'm doing the math on, like, well, if they're 8 for a linebacker coach and then they were 8 for it's a lot of freaking coaches you're considering. And I don't know if those are all like interview. Surely not. Those are all not all.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like a list of like, all right, here's the list of, because Robert Saleh is the defensive guy here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Robert Saleh's been with a ton of different linebackers coaches over his 20 years in the NFL.
What Hayden is saying is making an introduction is very different from making the hire. I think that's the point that the Titans are trying. That's the point the Titans are trying to make.
Okay.
To Daniel Caribbean's point, Dave Borgonzi, let's not go too crazy on whole. Like, he's not some linebacking coach guru, well known across the league, but he's also not some guy off the street. He is a long time defensive coach in the NFL since.
Yeah, I've got the resume here. All right, so we got Syracuse because he is 43 years old, so he's younger than Mike. He was a grad assistant at Syracuse. You can look that up while I'm doing this.
I will.
Dave, Syracuse grad assistant, 06-07, the Harvard DB's coach. And you got multiple Harvard people on the staff. Hey, there you go. From 08 to 2010, Dallas Cowboys assistant from 2011 through 2013 on both sides of the ball. Tampa Bay Bucks defensive quality control coach for 4 seasons. Linebackers coach for the Colts in this division and from 18 to 21. Bears linebackers coach for 3 seasons, and the Cowboys linebackers coach last season, and then now the linebackers coach here. So he has been a linebackers coach for an NFL football team since 2018.
There's no question he's qualified to do the job. I think what people who are mad are at questioning is whether or not he was the objective best man for the job. Right?
Yes. Now,
nobody's saying, like, who's this schlub. Now, with Ahmed Saleh, maybe there's more of that just because he has not coached at the NFL level ever, I believe. But he's also, I think this is another point that Karski made, like, it was a ground level hire for Saleh. He is a
entry level position,
entry level tape grinder. Not to diminish the importance of that role, it is important, but it's not like he jumped a bunch.
He's an assistant. Yeah, Ahmed Saleh is an assistant to the assistant coaches on defense.
Right.
But again, if we're in this situation, we've all seen this in movies, TV shows, real life, of boss has a nephew that needs a job. And the person's like, okay, The Office, right? We all know The Office for the most part. When Robert California is like storming into Andy, my wife is about to enter this room in 35 seconds. By no means do you hire her. By no means, you never. And then the whole thing is like, pressure, but don't hide. Like, what is it is Mike Borgonzi says, hey, you should, interview my brother. You don't have to hire him, but you should definitely interview. And then now you're like, okay, my boss.
I'm ready to be done speculating on how it happened and ready to talk about whether we should care or not.
Okay, great. So, I think we should split up Borgonzi and Saleh Nepo hires.
Okay. I'm curious
Because,
why you think that.
all right, so the question that we have, and maybe we'll do, well, do you want to do them together?
Not if your opinion is different for each of them. My opinion applies to both of them.
Okay. So let's just throw the question in the chat because I want to know this from
Good
them
start.
first. If I can copy and paste like an adult.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the family hires on the Titans coaching staff? All good, don't care, indifferent, or not good? All good, indifferent, not good. Those are the three options here. So I think the thing that I have in my mind when I see these is a little bit of an eye roll because Mike Vrabel's weakness was hiring his friends. That everybody hires their friends, and we know that. We establish that every year. Everybody hires their friends. But are you willing to fire your friends when your friends are not good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Vrabel was not willing to do that. Then you have Brian Callahan come in, and it was celebrated when the Browns allowed Bill to follow his son to be the O-line coach for his son as the head coach. It was a celebrated thing across the NFL. What a respectful move by the Browns. This is a cool thing, right? And I think that's fair to have that.
It's a reputation.
And then it failed. And so now you're sitting here seeing this of the GM's brother and the head coach's cousin are on the defensive coaching staff. So that's kind of the background that I'm like, God, again, like.
By the way, a part of the reason this is such a big deal amongst folks that have been following the Titans for a long time is that when Bud was still in charge, nepotism was like a aggressive line in the sand for him. It pains me to evoke Kaharski's name for a third time this morning, but he wrote about this yesterday, and he was talking about how, I forget, it may have been the Malarkey year or something, in those early to mid 2010s. Sorry?
Bud was gone when Malarkey was around.
Okay, so when did Bud die? Early 2010s?
2012, 13-ish.
Okay, so maybe late to the 2000s, whatever it was, around 2010-ish. There was one of the Titans coaches during that time, after Fisher, wanted to hire a couple of family members, and they were blocked both times by Bud, who had a very staunch no nepotism stance. It would have been
Fisher. Jeff did have a son.
I swear it wasn't Fisher, but maybe I'm just dumb. Go read Karski's thing. It's in Karski's thing. The point is, he twice notably blocked attempted family hires, and it was a big deal for him. And then Amy took over, and Bud passed away. And at an owners meeting, I maybe told this to Karski, or Karski heard her say it, I don't know. But she was talking about the nepotism thing, and someone asked her about it. And the quote was very funny, because she's just like, yeah, I don't know where my dad, I don't know why he felt so strongly about that. Clearly he felt super strongly about that. To me, it's a case-by-case thing, which is just ironic, because it's like the person who's now the owner of $1 billion franchise only because she happened to be born to the guy that was the owner in the first place, and bought the team and
family
formed
business.
the AFL. And yeah, I am for one shocked that she's a little bit lighter on the whole nepotism thing than her father was. But she has had a more case by case stance on it, clearly. And this is, I think, the biggest. I mean, what are the examples of that we can obviously Bill Callahan. This is not really a coaching staff thing, but we've got young ownership hanging around on the Titans staff, which is always a topic of intrigue.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other examples that I can't think of off the top of my head since she's been in charge, but this is the most notable instance of her approving two very direct. I mean, when you share the last name, it's like, there it is. Hard to miss that.
It's so obvious, right?
Yeah.
It's so obvious. So I did put up a YouTube poll, and it's young. But wow.
Greg Williams and his son were one. Okay, so maybe it was assistant coaches. I don't know. Or coordinators.
I don't think we've ever had a YouTube poll
so lopsided
where we have one option that gets 0 votes.
0 votes?
Out of the gates.
Oh, but there are 3 options.
There are 3 options.
Okay.
All good, indifferent, not good. Currently, not good has 0 votes.
It's funny.
Indifferent is at 66%, 67%. All good is at 33.
I would like to.
Now this is only 2 minutes old, so it's young.
Sure.
But 0 votes.
I would like to rerun this poll after, God forbid, the Titans lose 2 games in September.
Oh, okay. So all right, we got one. We got a vote. We got a 2% on there for not good.
I think somebody just wanted to be unique. They heard.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I can be the first person to do it. When Cody Barton predictably gets beat on a 3rd and 4 in the red zone to give up a touchdown.
Rude.
No, but it's the nature of the business, right? It's football. You win some, you lose some. And
why can't Cedric Gray get beat?
I don't know. Good question.
Picking on Cody Barton because he's a milk check?
I'm picking on Cody Barton because Cody Barton is the one who is more tasked to do the coverage right now.
Right. Gotcha.
So, and people, JT's trying to cut Cody Barton.
I was just trying to get you to say that Cody Barton stinks at football.
No, I don't think so at all. But Dave Borgonzi is going to be a easy finger to point.
Told you. So your official stance on it is?
I'm just annoyed by it.
Annoyed. Okay.
So I
certainly
guess
not all good.
Yeah. So my vote is going to be not a good thing because
you and that guy.
Here we are. It's like, did Dave Borgonzi? He had a job though, he didn't get let go from the Cowboys? Right.
That's a good question. I don't think so. But also maybe his contract was up. I don't know. Clearly he got out of it somehow. I don't know if that was because they allowed him to, or if it was up, or I don't know.
Because it just happened. This was not really on anybody's radar until yesterday. It came out official. And whoa, hey, there was not the Titans are asking the Cowboys if Dave can come coach here.
This can't be true, Bork. If so, I have questions. Anyways, so your stance is that you're annoyed. My stance is passionate indifference. I tweeted about this yesterday after this started to become a thing when the coaching staff list came out. There's clearly a lot of room for the
Borgonzi was fired by the Cowboys January 27th.
So he needed a job.
When Eberflus was let go, the Cowboys.
Actually, that probably should have put 2 and 2 together on that. That's fair.
So it was not a individual. Dave Borgonzi, you suck. You're fired. It was
part of a staff.
Eberflus. Bye.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for the nepotism pearl clutching on this, which I get. I'm just not somebody that is interested in pretending that I don't know how the NFL works, or frankly how the world works. Like any industry is like this. My stance is kind of like, welcome to the real world, kids. Mm-hmm. Industry is about who you know at the end of the day. And if you work in almost any industry, in your heart that's the case. I'm seeing a lot of people online being like, I hate nepotism in the NFL. And then you dig into that person's LinkedIn and it's like Internet Dave, accountant for his brother's law firm. You know what I mean? This is just how it goes. So I think we know the drill. They will be scrutinized to a higher degree than the other coaches on the staff are. If they suck, they'll get throttled. If they don't suck, they won't. That's it is just an amplification of the results-based nature of the NFL. They will be who people point to first because they're convenient, but it will be a part of the larger win equals good, lose equals bad. That's how it goes.
Could you imagine if Dave Borgonzi was a linebackers coach, the Titans, with Matt Nagy as the head coach?
I can't imagine it. Because
that's Mike Borgonzi using 2 cards, right?
I think there's a reason that didn't happen. Crazy. Then we're metaphorically beating down Mike Borgonzi's door with a bunch of questions.
For sure. And I just don't buy the whole Mike Borgonzi removed himself from the process.
JT is a Nepo hire. Good point, Austin. I'll make sure he knows that.
JT,
this is how I feel like a lot of people are. I hate nepotism in the NFL. All right, man. Sorry. Are you familiar with the NFL? You know how this works?
It's a read the room situation, right?
I think it's a we don't give a flying frick situation. Like,
What
I
the
don't think the
room
team
is.
cares.
Yeah, and like I don't care about the Ahmed Saleh one because that's a quality control coach. Like his cousin's been at Wayne State. I can imagine being an assistant coach at Wayne State is a brutal lifestyle
Yeah, no
because
kidding.
there's no resources. You're probably just living at the facility. You're probably making $0 and you're working every hour. And so he's helping his cousin out. He's got 60 first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that makes me like, he might even not know Ahmed Saleh that well. Like 60 cousins. Like, do you know 60 people in your family? And if you do, you
No.
don't know them that well, which is
No.
hilarious. So, anyway, so I'm, it's not,
Is it different though? Because like both hires were proportional to their qualifications. It's not like Dave Borgonzi went from being in the role that Ahmad Saleh was in to now being a linebackers coach. He went from being a longtime linebackers coach to being a linebackers coach.
I guess there is a reason why you and other Titans media very quickly got a text saying, "Hey, Mike had nothing to do with this." Right? Like,
because
if there
they know
wasn't
that
a
the
reason to
usual
send it, there
suspects are
wasn't a
going
reason
to take.
Yeah.
It's a very convenient thing to make a big stink about from a media standpoint, and the Titans know that the usual suspects are going to make a stink about it. And then if you go online right now, the usual suspects are making a stink about it. But like I think a lot of the pearl clutching from media on this topic, not just in this situation, but like we see this every single year all the time in the NFL. It's a nepotism business. It's like that's how it's like a lot of businesses. I think a lot of people complain a little dishonestly, like pretending that they don't know how this works.
Like
I've not covered the NFL for that long,
like
Austin.
pretending that they can't listen to music because they don't know the words, but they love the Macarena back in the 90s.
That's right. That's right.
Shout out Shrike for dropping that one. I thought that was a great.
It's like I can't believe they did this. You can't? Have you been paying attention to the NFL ever? I can believe it. It happens all the time. And we all know exactly how the reaction will go. Right now, the people that are looking for something to cause a stir about to get clicks will use this to get cheap clicks. And then we'll all kind of like not care about it until the season comes around. And then they'll start winning or losing games. And those guys will be near the top of the totem pole of people that we are super critical of if things go wrong because they're convenient. And they know that. Like, if you're Ahmad Saleh or Dave Borgonzi, you don't sign up for this thinking like, oh, the fans are going to be nice to me. I'm going to have a lot of goodwill. You know what the deal is.
Dave Borgonzi is the new Dave Franco from Daniel.
That'd be a good thing because Dave Franco's not.
I like
quite
Dave
good.
Franco.
He's quite good at what he does. So
yes. All right. So let's flip it over. We've gone through that. We've exhausted that conversation. So next, Easton is going to light himself on fire, and we're going to talk about the off-season fears for the Titans because it is Friday the 13th. So be thinking about this. What is your biggest off-season fear for the Titans right now? And it could be take it where you want to take it. It's Friday the 13th. Have some fun with it. But off-season fear for the Titans this year. Easton, tell us all about the Bone and Joint Institute.
The Bone and Joint Institute. They are the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust, and we trust our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute. My neck of the woods, just down I-65 here in the Nashville area. Shoot down the interstate, head south, and you will find this place right off to your left-hand side. You can't miss it. It's a big, beautiful, castle-esque building. I remember fondly when I drove JT past it for the first time. He's like, oh, that's the Bone and Joint Institute. Hard to miss that place. They're fantastic. They've got over a dozen specialists in there who will help you through any type of injury. State-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help you with your recovery. They do it all in that one building. Clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, rehab. It's a one-stop shop to get you fixed up, to get you right. Schedule an appointment today by going to boneandjointtn.org.
Hit that like button, like the show here on this Friday. We need more likes. You guys are, it's Friday the 13th. King VC comes in here with a super chat early on. Lock in, like the show. Appreciate you, King VC, on that one. So it's Friday the 13th. And I will go ahead and tell you, there's going to be another Friday the 13th next month.
Apparently there are 3 this year, Austin. Somebody
really?
in the chat said
What's
that
the
earlier.
other one?
I don't know. I think somebody's a real calendar head in the chat and checked it out. Someone in the chat, let us know. When's the other one?
I don't know. July.
Are you trying to do the math on it?
Yeah.
I'll leave that to somebody to look up.
I was trying to Rain Man that real fast, but I couldn't figure it out. But no, so March 13th will also be Friday the 13th. March 13th will be Friday the 13th, which means that is the Friday after free agency. So is that going to be a good or bad?
Something will go wrong, probably.
So what is November, says Scott. What is your Titans offseason biggest fear? Do you see any in the chat to go through?
I do. Some interesting ones in here. Let's start. I'm scrolling. Okay. Eric says that he's still waiting on me to shave my head. I will shave my head in the same episode that I light myself on fire. Injuries. Okay, well that's I think a pretty general one. I think every team is worried about that.
Yeah, come on.
Eric says drafting edge at 4. So Eric is hard line against an edge at 4 for whatever reason. That's an interesting take. Hashtag QG says that QJ, I can't speak, that they don't cut Snead. I don't think you have a whole lot to worry about on that front.
Actually, you know what? This was on my list of thoughts. Like, what if they don't?
Okay, what if I like?
I mean,
what if the sun doesn't come up tomorrow? Like, there are things that are going to happen in life, and this is one of them.
Well, it would be if the sun doesn't come up tomorrow, then you can blame Friday the 13th.
True.
But they don't need the space. Right?
They also don't need Snead.
Yeah.
Dude's done. It's over.
Okay.
Pack it up.
Okay, that's fine.
It would be crazy. You're right.
It's been very quiet, though.
Yeah, because everybody knows the deal. It's like, it's over. It's over. It's coming. Don't worry. Brad says that Cam's shoulder won't be 100%. And this is, I'd imagine, a pretty popular one. A very good one, too, right? Like, that could be Chekhov's gun hanging over all of our heads all offseason long, wondering. And if we get into late July and there's any indication from watching him at practice or talking to his coaches or whatever that, like, there's still some nagging little something to it, which I'm not expecting. But that will be like a big, bad, scary, oh no, not again. Jamie says drafting Arvell Reese, so he's a big-time Reese hater, it seems. Cam's shoulder not healing properly. Tall Texan says that they signed the receivers you guys picked yesterday, so he hated our mock draft. That's fine, or mock offseason. Jeff says that the Titans ignore wide receiver again until round 3 or later, but I know that's going to happen. I don't know if I know that's going to happen. We didn't do that yesterday, and we were pretty conservative on that front. Cam's injury is worse than we think. They don't address wide receiver in a meaningful way. People are very worried about the receiver situation.
I mean, we didn't draft a receiver until when?
Round 2.
Our second pick of round 2 because we traded back, right?
Our first pick that we traded back.
That's right. 42nd overall.
Yeah. So we addressed it before then. Good player. My biggest fear is that they don't fix the edge problem, which is fair because, even if they throw a lot of resources at it, they may not fix it. That Levis is the backup quarterback. Marvo's fears that somehow the Titans get worse and go to 2-15, regressing from their 3-14s. Worst fear is that there will be a major injury in OTAs. That's always a thing that you have to be worried about. Playing rock, paper, scissors in OTAs is Eric's biggest fear. Levis is the starting quarterback this year. I don't know how, unless Cam retires, I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
Injury. Right.
True. Keeping Snead on the roster.
The
they trade the 4th overall pick for Max Crosby. Listen, I don't know if that's the smartest thing in the world, but you'd be getting an awesome player. So that's your biggest fear is that you trade your top pick for an awesome player?
If that's your biggest fear, then it's not. It's crazy.
You're in for some smooth sailing.
It's crazy and probably not the smartest, like you just said, but it's also
crazy
because
he's going to cost more than this, by the way.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know how much the age difference. Like I'm thinking about the Micah Parsons trade, but also Micah's at least 3 years younger. Got to be right. Yeah. Cam shoulder. Curtis is just like, I don't like this segment already. Yeah, fair enough, man. Going into the draft without having signed 2 free agent corners. Yeah, if they've not set some semblance of a floor in free agency at cornerback, we're all going to be kind of white knuckling it on draft weekend, trying to figure out what exactly the plan is. Cornerback still has 0 starting caliber players on the field, possibly due to injuries. Well, that's always a possibility at corner in particular. Jason's fear is paying more free agents that don't work out. Jason, I'll go ahead and tell you right now. They're going to pay some guys this year that don't work out because that's how free agency works, right? Like, I can guarantee that they will not have a 100% hit rate on their free agents. And in fact, they'll probably pay somebody a big chunk of money that stinks because that's how it goes. There's just so many good ones in here. I can list these forever.
Yeah.
See, this is the way some of y'all's minds work. Brian, biggest fear is that the Titans continue the Tannehill curse by not bringing him back.
Bringing him back to do what?
Coach, I guess. I don't know. DeMarco Murray, did you see that? Titans legend?
Yeah.
Running back coach for the... I saw...
Chiefs.
This is so rude. I saw somebody, it may have been Hayden Winks or somebody, like, congrats to DeMarco Murray for being the first assistant coach in NFL history who could be the starter in his position room and the team's production would not drop off, which is just a real mean thing to say about the Chiefs running back situation. But
I mean, you could say Sean Jefferson, wide receivers coach of the Titans, could have done that during those couple of years too.
True.
Could Sean Jefferson be?
I mean, Tyke Tolbert was a dog in his day.
Yeah, but Sean Jefferson, could he have stacked up with Dorial Green-Beckham and Justin Hunter? I'd say probably.
We should have experimented with that.
He wore cleats at practice. And one time he wore full pads.
Did he really? Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Ridiculous bits.
So I'm seeing a lot of Cam's shoulder not healing, which is, I think, the low-hanging fruit for sure. Austin, what's yours as I continue to scroll for any good ones?
So this was hashtag QJ said, this is not mine, but I do like this a lot. They're going to draft Chris Bell in the second round, wide receiver from Louisville, and keep Ridley while Bell recovers from the ACL tear. So Chris Bell is a wide receiver prospect that is very attractive.
If he hadn't gotten hurt mid-season this year, I don't want to get crazy. I mean, I think he would have definitely been a top 5 receiver off the board, maybe a top 3 receiver off the board, definitely a first rounder.
Yeah. And so is Chris Bell an option at 35? Like if drafting Chris Bell at 35.
What do you mean by that? Will he be available then? Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the range that he's expected to go in? Also, yes.
Right. But like is that
Should it be an option for the Titans?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is that risk legitimate for the Titans in this current stage? Because I don't remember which month he tore his ACL
I'm pulling it up.
But
I thought it was early in the season. Yeah, relatively October 1st.
Okay. So you've got November, December.
Wait, no, that was an AI summary, and the AI was wrong, I think. Yeah, that was wrong. It was November 22nd, which is way worse.
Yeah, not good. You can't do that. I don't think they can do that.
Yeah, November 21st, or 22nd, rather.
So you're talking about him not being able to, like, do anything. Like, he's missing training camp.
I mean, listen, it's an interesting... Whoops, didn't mean to show that yet. No, take it away. Take it away.
Me?
Yeah, what? This is awful. I'm not even sure it's worth discussing because, like, I'm intrigued. Like, Chris Bell, I bet you Chris Bell, after a year of recovery, is going to be awesome for somebody. He's definitely a luxury pick because of the injury. He's the kind of no fault of Chris Bell's. He's the kind of player that annoys me most in the draft because when you have an awesome player that some team has to have the luxury of being willing to wait on, they tend to wait on them and then they tend to be good. And that team gets them for a discount because they have the luxury of waiting. The Titans don't have that. And especially after the way that the Titans ran their offseason last year, Mike Borgonzi's first year, I mean, it was a screaming in-your-face trend of availability, right? Like, especially in free agency. Every single guy, we were like, this guy has played 1,000 snaps for 3 straight years. This guy has played 1,000 snaps for 3 straight years. I don't see them getting away from that in a hurry, especially not with their second pick. But it is interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they can do that.
I wish they could because I really like Chris Bell.
Yeah, and so hashtag says who had the same one. He said Borgonzi did draft Winston Jr. True.
But Winston tore his ACL on the second game of the year in early September.
So like basically 2 months, over 2 months before Chris Bell, and you did not need Kevin Winston Jr.
right away
as much as the Titans will need that placeholder wide receiver draft pick.
Totally. I mean, Winston was running full speed 40-yard dash times at his pro day in March. March.
Yeah, March.
So very different timeline. Chris Bell is not going to be doing any offseason training for teams.
Yeah, he's not ready for. I mean, if he's ready for training camp, you're like, why? Why are you pushing that hard? You should probably not.
Right.
it's a full redshirt year for Chris Bell. And
Mm-hmm.
and so I saw somebody say, like, if he's available in the 3rd round, do it.
Yeah, I would, but he's not gonna be.
Yeah.
If
Because
that guy's
somebody
available
else,
at
because somebody
66,
that's the same thing of like the Titans drafted Jeffrey Simmons at 19 because the Titans were picking 19th and didn't have like a ton of holes and could take Jeffrey Simmons, the top 5 player in that draft, at 19 because he tore his ACL in January training.
right? Like Chris Bell is probably going to be a top 20 talent that somebody's going to get at a discount at like pick 49 or something, 45, whatever it is.
So
Maybe,
do you
maybe not
have
even that late, honestly?
do you have your biggest fear? Because mine, I think, is going
I
to
do.
create a little bit of an extended conversation.
Okay. Well, we'll see if mine does too. Maybe not.
Okay.
Mine is just generally the inverse of what I've been talking about that I hope that they do / think that they're going to do with this free agency and all this money. I don't see how this happens, but if it were, it'd be my worst case, and it's that they talk themselves into the Rand Carthon approach to the 2024 offseason, where they kind of fly by the seat of their pants. They don't seem process oriented. And I'm not trying to like dump on Rand Carthon, but it's not even who in the end he signed so much as it is how those of us that covered it and like lived it day to day know that the process went. Because Austin, you remember this. It wasn't just that they like set out at the top of their free agency with L'Jarius Sneed and Calvin Ridley at the top of their to-do list. They had other plans that they kind of pivoted and last minute changed to allocate money to, like, especially the Calvin Ridley thing. We heard pretty quickly that it's like, well, they had this pool of money set aside to re-sign 3 key defensive players who they ultimately lost out in free agency. They all went to different places. So Rand Carthon just decided to kind of lump all that money and then let's enter because the Calvin Ridley sweepstakes have been going on since the end of the offseason. Like, he played his last game with the Jaguars in early January, and then it was a weekly discussion on First Take of like Calvin Ridley sweepstakes. It's the Patriots and the Jaguars and then a couple other mystery teams that kind of entered and exited the conversation as you went. But it was largely Patriots, Jaguars. Who's going to win out to get this guy? And it wasn't until the really the 11th and a half hour that the Titans' name was even mentioned in the conversation. And before you could even talk about it, it was like, oh, and they've signed him.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa, who? Really?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing where it's like, man, I'm not saying that's always going to not work for you. But for Mike Borgonzi, being a disciplined, process-oriented, draft and develop guy who has not in a press conference setting. I mean, he has said it in the press conference setting, but to my face, personally, off the record, he and I have talked about how it is bad process to win free agency, that the teams that win free agency rarely win in the fall, that the free agency must be for supplementing your roster and for lesser premium positions if you want to build long-term sustainably, that you have to hit on the premium building block players of your franchise in the draft and have them on those contracts and have them from the beginning to develop them in-house. Like, for him to do all of that and for me to have this very firm and confident understanding of what he is as a GM and then turn around and be like, and we're going to spend $24.5 million on the top wide receiver and go crazy at like whatever they could do. That's like big blowout. We're talking on First Take on March 21st about how the Tennessee Titans are your winner of free agency in 2026. I'm going to be a hater on that. I'll be a hater on that.
Yeah, that's fair. And we don't know how much of that was ownership pushing Rand to spend big because they were trying to flip from a hard turn from Vrabel, Henry, Tannehill out to Rand and Callahan and new faces. And I don't know how much
they were trying to maximize around a promising young second-year quarterback in Will Levis. Like, they were trying to push for that window. And I didn't hate that fundamentally. I hated the way that they went about it.
Well, I guess what I don't know is how much of the Rand Carthon spending was his assignment, right? Versus was him just doing it, right? I don't know if we'll ever know that. All right, so my biggest fear revolves around the NFL draft, and I'll tell you guys about that here in a second. But Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all your insurance needs. BartonDrury.com is the website if you're looking for better health coverage, better home insurance, better rental insurance, better car insurance. Barton Drury is there to help you out, whether you're in the market for that, or maybe you are trying to just save some extra money on the budget, but not sacrifice the coverage that you need. They can help you out for sure because they have great communication skills. Their team is dedicated and very well experienced. They're experts across the board. They have somebody who can help you out on whatever side of the insurance game you're playing. If you own a business, if you're in an HR department for your company, if you're looking for something to better your family life, your 401k planning, they can do anything and everything. They're local in the mid-state. They care. They're great. They will jump on a Zoom, a phone call, trade emails until the day goes dark, all these things. Barton Drury is there for you. Check them out online at bartondrury.com.
Hey, if you've been with us for 55 minutes and you haven't hit the like button, what's up? What are we doing? Hit that like button. It's free. It's very helpful. Thank you for doing that right now. I could hear through my screen that you clicked it, and I appreciate that.
My biggest fear for the Titans offseason here on this Friday the 13th is that the 4th overall pick is a dud.
Okay, say more. Do you because my question was, do you mean the position that they choose is one that you don't approve of, or that whoever the player is, the guy stinks?
The player.
So even if they take the top edge off the board, who we all love, that guy's stinking.
Are we going to love, and that we're early in the process. We've got over 2 months until the draft. So we have a lot of time to either love or fall out of love with some of these prospects. My biggest fear is that, and I've said this for a couple months, the Titans are going to slightly overdraft anybody at 4, unless it's Arvell Reese.
Okay.
Which is just a different type of square peg round hole thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I agree with that, but I understand your point.
Yeah. David Bailey, I'm going to have questions about his fit here and his ability to round into form and being more than a one-trick pony. Mm-hmm. And then Ruben Bain Jr. is if you draft Ruben Bain Jr. at 4th overall, you are betting on him being an actual unicorn.
True.
And the Titans are not in a spot to bet on a unicorn happening. Okay. But I think Bain's the better player.
I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds like if they draft Bain, that's a nightmare of yours. If the Titans are not in a spot to draft a player like him and they draft him, sounds like you're gonna be upset.
It's a why are you going? It's a walk off the airplane in Vegas and put everything your entire budget on black and it hits red. That's kind of what I'm feeling like. It's yeah.
I do think the floor for Bain is important in this. The whole unicorn thing sounds more dramatic than it is, because this is not a situation where you're betting on the guy to be a unicorn, and if he's not a unicorn, he's going to suck in the NFL. I just don't think you can say that about Bain. I think you would say the worst case scenario is that he's a very good 3-tech, which then becomes a question of how do you get him on the field with the Titans because Jeffrey Simmons exists. But in terms of a valuable player, I don't think any team that ends up drafting Bain is at risk of, unless injuries is always a question, and he's not got an injury history, but that can always derail a career. I don't think there's really a risk of this guy not being good at football at some position. The question is the position.
Yeah, and to go on the short arms thing, I'm fascinated to actually see the arm length at the combine. Is there any way that a player can get out of that at the combine? If they go to the combine, they have to measure, right? They cannot work out. They cannot do drills, but they got to measure and they got to interview if they go.
So the answer is yes. I don't know if it's technically a rule or just a giant taboo that nobody wants to break, but either way, nobody goes to the combine and doesn't measure.
Right. And so the threshold for edge is arm length of 32 inches. Ruben Bain's arm length is under 31 inches. So it's not that he's short. It's that he's the shortest arms. And I'm concerned about somebody getting swallowed up and you're drafting a player 4th overall who is maybe a starter, but you got to find out where you're going to play him. and his ceiling is every day and every game starter for 6, 7 years, 8 years, maybe. Does he get a second contract?
Mm-hmm.
This is the 4th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then David Bailey, like, I don't know what he had a bunch of sacks as 1-year guy at Texas Tech, where he jumped up from 7 sacks his year before at Stanford. And he goes to Texas Tech, where they bought the whole defensive front. And so he's got better teammates around him to help with his numbers, right? That makes sense. Now he's going to have Jeffrey Simmons
around him, but
I
mean, Bain had pretty.
Yeah, Bain did too with Mesidor for sure, no doubt.
And Reese had pretty good teammates around him, actually.
All
these guys played on pretty daggum
I know,
good defenses.
I'm seeing like a 1-year explosion of production is because Texas Tech spent the most money of anybody in college football history on their defensive line. So does he fit Saleh's defense? Is he an outlier on Saleh's defense? And then what are the other options if it's not Bain or Bailey? Is it Carnell Tate, who's going to be drafted the same level as Marvin Harrison Jr.? And is he a high ceiling? Is he number 1, or is he just a reliable guy? Like, what's the ceiling on him?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I mean, I know there's been a lot of people in the mock draft world giving the Titans an offensive lineman at 4, which is also just a very like bad taste in your mouth type of thing. So
it's a not going to happen type of thing.
My biggest fear is that whoever they get at 4 is just super underwhelming.
Okay. Well, that's all eye of the beholder, right? Because you just named a bunch of guys that to others would not be super underwhelming. You know?
If Jeffrey Simmons wasn't on this football team, then Ruben Bain Jr. would be a really solid draft pick. And again, 4 is still really high.
I think there's something to be said about, like, listen, I get it. I'm not saying there's no risk with Bain. I'm still in the process of watching Bain, and I'm writing about all 3 of these guys either today or tomorrow. But there's something to be said about twisting yourself into a knot on overlap on a roster, because at the end of the day, this is all a value proposition. And for your team to add the best, or let me take that back, not best, to add the most valuable player, period, full stop, is never a bad thing. Like, if the worst case is that Bain is really good, but you have a problem trying to figure out how you get him and Jeff on the field at the same time, you still have the value of 2 really good 3 techs, which is valuable to you, but more importantly, gives the GM flexibility to turn that. Like, the Eagles have done this to a less, not this high of a profile, but with a lot of their high pedigree guys that they either draft or trade for, like buying low, they will add redundancy to their roster because the GM views it as a war chest, views these guys, the value of these guys, as literal currency for him to use in barters. And so, like, if Mike Borgonzi needed something and he had 2 awesome 3 techs on his team, not a bad spot to be in. That's why I'm not saying like that's the cope for, like, well, then definitely draft Bain. It's just, there are worse fates than having an awesome guy.
This is my biggest fear, right? Like, I'm answering the question on my biggest fear, right?
Yeah.
And so, Austin, with your worry, would you give it peace of mind if they trade down? I mean, sure, of course, but like, who's coming up for what?
I wish it was shade today, because like the whole trade, like, my eyes roll out of my head every single time we evoke the idea of a trade down at 4. Like, there's never been a draft that I've covered, and granted, I've covered 5 drafts now, 4, however many it is. There's not been one that I've covered where I am more certain that there's not an option for you to trade down from 3 or for 4 or for 5. Like, draft season's weird, and maybe some team talks themselves into a total pretzel over a guy. Like, if there was a trade in the top 10, it's gonna be like number 5 and number 6 flipping for a, whatever day 3, like relatively minimal value shift. Ain't nobody coming up from 9 to 4, from 13 to 4. Like, it's not happening. This draft does not have that kind of pop at the top. It requires true blue chip, like, wow talent, knock your socks off talent at the top for teams to do that, because it's really freaking expensive to trade up that high. And I like these options at the top, but not as like we're talking quote unquote guys that are being evoked as, whether it's fair or not, generational type guys like Travis Hunter last year. That's the kind of guy people are trading up for. Quarterbacks, obviously, those are the kinds of guys people are trading up for. Myles Garrett is the kind of guy that people are trying to trade up for. Those guys aren't in this class. Mm-hmm. So can we stop? Can we stop with the whole trade down thing? I too would enjoy if they could trade down. It's not happening. It's not an option.
The Truth asks, if Bain is excuse me, is a Cam Jordan, is he worth a number 4 overall pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is he?
Is he that guy?
Is he a Cam Jordan?
I'm not saying he's that guy. That's
right,
not the
but
question.
If he is, sure. Now, again, their height, weight is not that crazy. Cam Jordan's bigger than Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain 6'3", 275. Cam Jordan 6'4", 287. Mm-hmm. Cam Jordan's arms are 4 inches plus longer than Ruben Bain's.
True.
I think that's so 1 inch extra of height, but over 4 inches extra of arm length for Cam Jordan to Ruben Bain. And like I truly feel like people that are discrediting arm length, like it isn't like I think it's very important because you can get stuck if you don't have the ability to win first. Because if Ruben Bain with his short and these aren't just short arms, they're very short.
The shortest
on record.
I mean, not really, but like the shortest of any. If we're assuming he's good, the shortest of any good guy.
Nobody has been good with this short of arms, and honestly, there hasn't been anybody like with it. I mean, we were texting back and forth early in the week with Ryan, who was going through all the different like
databases.
Yeah. Joshua says 4 inches isn't a huge difference. It's a massive difference. What the hell are you talking about?
So
it's the difference in like winning and losing reps.
It's the difference between gold medal in the Olympics and not making the podium in the Olympics.
I'm just talking about from a pass rush standpoint.
I'm just talking about
right. It's like if Ruben Bain does not win first, quickest on every rep, then the offensive lineman can bench press him and just stick him right there like he's a little brother.
And now we're getting a lot of predictable 4 inches comments in the chat, which is understandable. Devil's advocate, because again, I agree with the premise of what you're saying. Our like length in this discussion is primarily important for leverage, and leverage is a way that you maximize or minimize strength. And somebody like Bain, who has short arms, I think a part of the reason why in college he was able to make it really not matter at all, and people are hoping that is the same in the NFL, is because the dude is so freaking strong. Like, he kind of doesn't need the leverage a lot of the time. He's just stronger than you. So that's a part of his profile that makes me wonder if it's really going to matter all that much.
Well, and then people bring up Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's arms were not long, but they weren't short. They were 32. He was
also a defensive tackle.
And he was also the quickest MFer in the entire league. Like
we're talking about an edge here, folks.
And he's also is Aaron Donald a unicorn?
That you think you are by mentioning defensive.
Is Aaron Donald a unicorn? So you were saying
right? Yeah.
Aaron Donald, who has nearly 2 inches of arm length on Ruben Bain,
and plays a different position.
Why you should think Ruben Bain should be drafted 4th? Mm-hmm. Aaron Donald, first ballot jacket guy, the quickest MFer out there for a decade. That's why you're saying, yeah, Ruben Bain can do it. That's dumb. That's not the smartest. And I think that's my point. And then Kurt says, okay, yeah, give me Bailey. I'm like, all right. Then maybe you're getting a guy who might get a couple sacks. You're getting somebody like Harold Landry's last year that had 9 sacks, looks good on paper, but he had 9 plays. Mm-hmm. And is he going to be able to play the other plays?
Right.
And be successful? Like, he's not terrible. Like, David Bailey's a work ethic's good. He's got limitations. So my overall point, my biggest fear is that this 4th overall pick could be a stinker.
Okay. Scary.
We ready for some good news? Wrap up
Let's
this
do it.
Friday the 13th. All right, here we go. Good news. If you have good news in the chat, share it with us. It's Valentine's Day. I hope you guys will have some good news and are prepared. right, good news time here to wrap up our week. If you got good news, share it. Let's see.
You probably just scared some people, by the way. It is not, in fact, Valentine's Day. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day weekend. You said it's Valentine's Day. Hope you have some good news.
Well, Valentine's Day weekend. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
No, but I think there were some people in the comments who were like, wait, what?
Oh. Wait, if you're that person, you're screwed anyway. It's done.
Maybe that person made big plans for tomorrow and they're like, oh no, I got the day wrong. But no, you got the day right. Don't worry. Anyways, good news.
Good news. What do you see in the chat?
Good question. Good news from Tiffany. Boyfriend is taking me to the draft in Pittsburgh. That's fun. It should be a good time.
Drafts are fun.
Where are the good news? Good news. Good. Here we go. Good news. Vrabel didn't win the Super Bowl, so Randy was praying on Mike Vrabel's downfall. Good news from Dalen. Going to a candlelit Queen orchestra tonight with the wife. First date since the baby. That sounds fun.
What's a candlelit Queen orchestra?
I'm gonna guess it's a symphony performance by candlelight, and they're playing Queen.
I'm in on that.
Electric.
I'm in.
Yeah,
that sounds
like a good time.
Awesome. To me, that sounds sick.
Yeah. Rooney says, good news. Booked my Daytona Beach vacation for 7 days in July. That sounds like a good old time. Just Smash got tickets to the Titanic Museum for my wife and I. She's a Titanic fan. Now, I'm assuming he doesn't mean the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I'm sure you're familiar with what I'm talking about, Austin.
Yeah.
That's not the Titanic
I've not
Museum.
been to that one, though.
No, me neither. I just have always seen it. It's impossible to miss. Surely there's another serious, no disrespect for the Pigeon Forge Titanic Museum. I'm assuming Just Smash means wherever the Titanic Museum is, I would hope. Good news from Jason. My wife just started her mobile dental hygiene business. That sounds fun. Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. They come to you? Interesting. To have the money for that.
If you don't floss yourself, I'll come to your bathroom and floss your food.
That's right. My wife yesterday, by the way, we were talking about Ed Sheeran because he was playing on the speaker, and she was like, I read that he doesn't have a phone. I was like, what do you mean he doesn't have a phone? She's like, yeah, he just has an iPad that he'll like get on the internet with Wi-Fi and stuff, but like he's talked about how his life is better without a phone. And then he's got a guy that handles all of his communications and everything. He's got basically a phone guy. And she's like, we should do that. And I was like, well, Ed Sheeran can afford to do that. We can't afford to have the luxury of having a phone guy.
And
you have to have a phone guy.
I work in sports media. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm about to say that point in particular. But even if you're anyone, like the average person cannot afford to have a phone guy.
I'll make this my good news. An old college buddy of mine is doing that. He went to a flip phone. And then he created.
That's different, though. You can still reach that person. Ed Sheeran, you literally can't reach him.
Correct. But he went to a flip phone, and he actually created a YouTube channel to kind of vlog his experience of like going back in time.
Sure.
And so I've been watching his content, and we've reconnected over this. I made him a thumbnail for his videos, which is funny. But yeah, and I have to communicate with him through like Instagram DM because he uses his phone in his office only at his house.
Oh, interesting.
And it's only for like work hours, or he gives himself like allocated times to go on Instagram and Twitter just for like whatever. But whenever he leaves that office, he just has his flip phone with him. And
unplugged, baby.
He's finding himself in like George Costanza, like Seinfeld situations all the time because he's like got to print out the map quest, like that, and
that's crazy.
But it's very entertaining. And so that would be my good news, is that I've got a buddy who's doing the flip phone life just to kind of reset himself on his screen time and extra Amazon purchases.
Sure. Morris says, good news. After 7 months, my insurance has finally decided to pay for my medicine. Listen, we have had insurance sagas on this show before. We have a strong feeling on this, and we're very happy for you, Morris, because that is infuriating. But way to fight. 7 months. That's endurance right there. Good news from When in Doubt, Throttle Out. Good news, taking the wife to an ice castle for Valentine's Day and some Italian food. Good time. Ice castle. That sounds like a good time. Orchestra that plays Queen music. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we.
That sounds awesome. That sounds great. Where? I want to go.
Curtis says going to Five Senses for V-Day dinner with the wife. Do you know what Five Senses is?
Never heard of it.
Sure, it's a fancy place.
Sounds like, is that one of those things where you do like taste testing blind at one point?
Ooh, that like an experiential restaurant deal.
Yes.
Jason, I like this. Romantic, We Will Rock You. That's what I'm picturing as well. Like a pared down, unplugged version of We Will Rock You.
Five
half
Senses
time.
is in Murfreesboro.
Oh. Any other good news? Justin, good news. Already spent 200 schmeckles on Valentine's Day and haven't even gone out to dinner yet. Oh, buddy, open that pocketbook. Good news from Jeff. My mom and I are changing our Sicily trip to a Christmas market trip to Germany and France and Switzerland. Now that sounds like a lot of fun. I like that a lot. A traditional German Christmas market, Switzerland Christmas market, sounds like a vibe. So I would like to. Can I come with you, Jeff? Do you have an extra ticket? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else?
The Queen
Orchestra.
Orchestra.
This is crazy. People pay people to come and pick up their dog poop from their backyard. Yeah, that's the life, I guess. I don't know. You have a dog poop guy, Austin?
Me.
Yeah, I think most people are that way. All right. Well, we got reviews from Pigeon Forge. The Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge is legit, but the Crime Museum is must see. I didn't know there was a crime museum. Next time I go, I'm going to have to find it.
Oh, Randy, good call. 3-day weekend. Us too.
True.
We don't do shows on President's Day. Why? Because it's the middle of February, so we don't have to. And we get to
There'll be a video that day, though.
There will be video. Easton's has content coming, so there'll be a video in place of a live show, and it will be good. Mm-hmm. It will be good.
Recording it later today. Should be a good time.
So it better be good, because I just said it will be good, and it hasn't even happened yet.
Oh, don't worry. It will be good.
It will be good, but yeah, this is our first day off.
It might be great. We'll have to see. You'll have to tune in to find out. It might be great.
So this is our first. We'll be working on Monday. We just won't do a live show. It's just an opportunity to not have to get up and sprint to 8:10 a.m. Right?
Yeah, I'll do a little sleeping in. Would be nice.
Yep. You got any good news?
Great question. Good news. I know JT mentioned this in Good News last week. JT and I's football card business is up and running. We're having a good time, having a blast. If you're not familiar with Whatnot, check it out. Whatnot, Sideline Singles. We're selling cards. Shameless plug. Also, by the way, if you know of any card shows going around in your community, go out to one. It's a good time. Hey, relax on the plug thing. It's too late. I already did it. Go to a card show sometime.
Nobody heard anything.
No, they heard it. Card shows. There's one in Nolans, or I think it's in Nolansville. It's called The Lighthouse. You can find it on Facebook. If you just enjoy naming dudes, just reminiscing on football players, just go walk around one. Yeah, so just go walk around one. It's more fun than you think it is.
Cool. Are you a guy who likes football? Do you like naming guys from the past?
Of course you do.
Yes. Then this is for you.
Stand in front of a box of cool old cards and be like, oh, remember this guy? That's what JT and I go and do on Saturday mornings now.
Oh, man. All right, guys. That's it. Everybody have a great Valentine's Day weekend, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. Tuesday morning. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Enjoy your first football-free weekend in a long, 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 long time. And we'll catch you guys on Tuesday. Appreciate it.